Hello, and welcome to another SudokuCon Setter Spotlight. Today we are featuring a puzzle from Skojo, specifically a puzzle that he posted as part of the SudokuCon newsletter. We are less than 3 months out at this point. I don't know if you have your tickets, but I sure do. I'm very excited. And Skojo had been reaching out to me recently about running some sort of solving segment at the con or other sort of similar events. If any of you have some ideas of things you'd like to see, either if you're joining in person or even virtually, there should be virtual tickets, so you'll be able to, interact online. Um, but yeah, we've been talking, going back and forth, and I've done puzzles from him before, from Skojo before, but I decided, even if this was just a little 6x6, I don't know how hard it's going to be. Maybe this ends up being like a 10-minute video, who knows. But I felt that it was important to share, and of course, shout out SudokuCon once again as we get closer and closer. I'm also looking to do something with Timberlake over at Smart Hobbies, so be on the lookout for that as well. In any case, let's jump into Chevrons by Skojo. Normal 6x6 Sudoku rules apply. Digits a chess knight's move apart may not be the same. So Skojo has done a great thing here by making this puzzle very accessible. Of course, normal 6x6 Sudoku rules, so any complete row, column, and 2x3 thickly outlined region will contain the digits 1 to 9, 1 to 6 once each. And of course, we have anti-knight. So we have anti-knight rules here. So a knight, as in chess, if this was a knight in chess, right, let's just highlight that here, then it would see every cell that is 2 in one orthogonal direction and 1 in a perpendicular direction. So if you do all the possible ways of 2 then 1, or even if you wanted to go 1 then 2, in either case, you end up with these 8 cells here. So if this were a 1, then that would mean that none of these cells could be themselves 1s. Then we have our German whisper line. So again, being very accessible here by explicitly marking the lines. These are German whisper lines. So digits along, or neighboring digits on green German whisper lines must differ by at least 3. So because we are in the digits 1 to 6, if you try to differ by at least 5, not a lot of options, right? 1, 6 is pretty much all you can do. So in this case, we differ from 1 to 3. So that means the digits 1, 2, and 3 form a set of low digits, and 4, 5, and 6 create a set of high digits. So any of 1, 2, and 3 will map to one or more of 4, 5, and 6, and the same is true in reverse. So we'll get this oscillating between 1, 2, 3s and 4, 5, 6s. Then finally, on our Renban lines, the ones marked with the R's, digits on a pink Renban line do not repeat and must form a consecutive sequence in any order. So finally, what does that mean? Well, consecutive sequence just means they follow one after the next. And of course, the digits do not repeat. So Skojo specifies that they can appear in any order. So digits that follow one after the next would essentially be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But we don't need to put it in that order. So if we decide that this Renban line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it doesn't have to specifically be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be 5, 2, 4, 1, 3, for example, as long as the digit placement, of course, follows the other rules. So with that, those are the rules. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so realistically, what's the best place to start? I guess the easy thing to think about is these Renban lines, because these Renban lines will either be 1 through 5, as I explained, or they'll be 2 through 6. In either case, the digits 2, 3, 4, and 5 always appear somewhere in those cells. I guess 2 is actually really valuable because we just instantly get 2. I wonder if it's useful to also pencil mark here. I haven't decided quite yet, but I shouldn't just assume just because it's a 6x6 that means it's easy, because there are some very difficult 6x6s. So 2 sees all of these cells. These 2 by Knight's move, it sees this cell by Sudoku. It sees this cell by Sudoku, which means the 2 along this Renban would have to go here. 2 then just, by Sudoku and Knight's move gets us 2 here. And actually, maybe this is, whoops, maybe this is a good time to bring up something interesting about Knight's move 6x6s. I actually set a puzzle, I think I just called it like Sudoku theory or something like that, where I go through this, and I'll link that there if you want to, discover this principle for yourself. But essentially, what we're able to do with any 6x6 that has Knight's move is essentially split it up into a checkerboard pattern. I don't know, I guess we can do like a light blue thing here. I like the light blue, it's a good blue. What's happening here is that whatever 3 digits go into these blue cells will never appear in any of the white cells in the grid, just by default. So the fact that we see a 6 here in this white cell tells us that no blue cell, like this blue cell, for example, or I guess ignoring the low high, this blue cell could never be a 6. It just is literally not possible. You might be wondering, how in the world does that make any sense? Essentially, what we can do is if we reset this, probably would have been easier to just go like that, wouldn't it have been? That's fine. Why make it easy when you can make it hard? If we highlight specifically these 3 cells here in blue, what we can do is we can say whatever these 3 cells are, it doesn't matter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it doesn't make a difference. The point is that these are some set of digits. Well, it just so happens that if we look at this cell here, this cell sees this cell by Sudoku and these 2 by Knight's move. So this will have to be something different, right? It can't be one of these 3 digits, which I guess we'll use the yellow. The same is true with this. This cannot be any of 1, 2, or 3. It cannot be any of these digits. And the same thing is true here. These 2 by Knight's move, this by Sudoku. So we know that these 3 blue digits have to be distinctly different from these 3 yellow digits, which means these 3 must also be yellow digits, and these 3 must then be blue digits. And the same exact logic that we applied here can be applied downwards. So we get the blue here, the yellow here, and then you can propagate that over to the right side of the grid as well. So what we're able to do is we'll actually leave this color coding here. We can immediately start looking and saying, okay, well, where can 2 go? Well, 2, only option, can go here. And then we'll know one of these 2 will be the 2. And then one of these 2 will be the 2. So that's the type of work that is quite helpful and will hopefully move us along a little bit faster, especially since I've wasted so much time here just trying to explain that concept. But I think it's very interesting. It can sometimes make some 6x6s very trivial if you know that they have a Knight's move and you know this little, I guess you could call it a trick, what are the clickbait things? 99% of people don't know this one simple Sudoku trick or something like that. But realistically, this is something that has very niche application, but when you can't apply it, it is very neat. So, getting distracted there. Let's continue with the puzzle. Where do we even want to look now? I guess 2. 2 says this will be some high digit, and the fact that it's 2 means that we actually have a 5-6 pair here. All right, I was going to say, do we know that all of the blue digits come from the low set? But that's not actually necessarily true, because whatever this cell is, or whatever this digit is this digit. So just because these are low, these could theoretically still be high. There might be something else that I'm missing with the interaction that makes it clear, like if I track like this value here ends up here. So actually, it's very possible that all of these happen to be the same digit and they're all low, and this could be high. So I'm not comfortable making that distinction, but I am able to say that we know for a fact that this will be 5-6 because next to a 2 If you differ it by 3, the minimum is 5 and the maximum is 6, right? So this could never be 4. So we know that 4 will be in one of these two cells. Is that like specifically helpful? Maybe not. It gives us 4 in one of these two cells. But again, can we do better? That's always the question, is can we do better? And I don't explicitly know if that's the case. Maybe with the 5, 6, knowing that that gets eliminated from blue cells is helpful. I guess we did already know that 6 was in the white cells. Probably pencil marking would make this a little bit easier, but we're gonna see what we can do. Like this, if this was 6 here, for example, this very well could be 3. But if the second this isn't 6, this is not going to be a very happy camper. So, just like 4 and 6 in a normal German whisper can only be next to 9 and 1 respectively, in this case, a 3 can only be next to a 6, and a 4 can only be next to a 1. So those are kind of limiting cases in this, but yeah, the thing is 2 with 1 or 2 with 3. Well, actually, no. Oh my gosh. Folks, hello. This could never be 3 because then these would both have to be 6. I was just saying how this is a 5 6 pair and that these have to be the same digit, right? And this is where the checkerboard pattern really helps because you might have thought that maybe this, yeah, it sees all of these cells, but it could go here. But of course, by this logic that we worked through, that we've worked through more specifically in the past, but we kind of did a quick pass through with it, we know that this must be the same as this. And it is not possible for this to be 3 because then this would require double 6, and it can't be that, which means it is in fact 1. And then what that does for us is a few different things. 1 here, and of course we're left with that. This does now mean that this has to be 1 through 1 through 5. It can't be 2 through 6. So knowing this is a 1, 2 pair, we know that this is 3, 4, and 5, which means this is 3, 4, or 5. All of these, 3, 4, or 5. Right, 1, 2, this is, because this has to be a distinct set of digits. This is 3, 4, oh, and that's how we do it. This is 3, 4, 5, so this is 1, right? And this is 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So this is 2, this is 1, this is 2, this is 1. So that's that piece of it. And then again, 3, 4, or 5, any of them are fine right now. So I think we have to start using the 6 because knowing that it's white and it can't go on the Renban starts to give us some placements. It could go here though as the problem. But in either case, it cannot be this digit, which means this cannot be 6, which means staring across, one of these two is 6, so it must be... Oh no, that doesn't make sense then. Wait, what have I broken? If this is 6, then this has to be 6. No, sorry, wait, no, sorry. This has to be... Oh my gosh. This has to be 2 through 6. Why did I just say it can't be? I don't know. Brain's a little bit broken here. This is 6 here. And then now this says that 6 does go here. And then that says that 6 goes here. And then we're left with an X swing on 6, but knowing that this is a 5-6 pair says that this is 6 and this is 5. 6, we then get 6 here. And that is all 6 sixes. So we have 6 ones, right? 6 twos and 6 sixes. The 5 now, 5 gives us 5 here. We know then that this is 3, 4. 5 gets us 5 here, and 5 here, and 5 here. So that gets us 5 here. And something about the 3, 4, and that's what does it. It's the Ren band that does it. This has to be 3 or 4, but knowing that it has to go next to 1 on the Ren band means the only option for it is 4, and this will be our 3s, and we are done in 11 minutes and 53 seconds with Chevrons by Skojo. And I was thinking about chevrons in the context of the Renban and German Whisper lines, but I wasn't thinking about it in the context of, maybe thinking about how these interact as well, because these essentially are their own chevrons. Wow. I didn't really process that until now, but I'm sure Skojo will let me know if that's what he was intending. But yeah, these are essentially little chevrons in and of themselves inside of the anti-knight Sudoku. Wow, it always astounds me just what sort of things these setters come up with. In any case, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you in Manchester.